Hey guys, it's Ozzie from Wanderlust Awe Syndrome, where I provide unique views, advice, and stories for you, the passionate traveler. If you are looking to go to Australia this year, there is some good news. Australia is set to open its borders, but you must have proof of two vaccine shots. That's right, Australia is going to open its borders. Yet you have to have proof that you have both shots of the COVID-19 vaccine shot. We're going to go through this article from CNN. I found this very interesting. As you can see, Australia to reopen to vaccinated international travelers this month. This is going to be a very quick video. We're just going to go through the article and see what we're looking for those who are looking to go to Australia. Australia will open its borders to fully vaccinated international travelers from late February. Australia Prime Minister Scott Morrison announced on Monday after meeting of the government's National Security Committee. The key thing is that it will open all borders right here. Remaining visa holders on the 21st of February. So that means on February 21st, if you have been dying to go to Australia, which I recommend you go, Australia is a very beautiful place. This is the time to do it. Even so, that means you're going to have to get vaccine shots. Now, in my opinion, I don't care if you got the vaccine or not. I'm all about freedom. I'm all about freedom of travel. You could go anywhere you could go or think of going, as long as you understand the consequences of going there. Let's continue on. Australia, which has been closed to most travelers since early 2020, has slowly eased its restrictions since November through travel programs with New Zealand, Singapore, South Korea, and Japan. That makes sense because they're right next door to it pretty much. Let's go down here. Currently citizens, permanent residents, and their families, along with international students, backpackers, and migrant workers, are allowed entry into the country though they must show proof of having 2 doses of an approved vaccine. So if you're gonna go to Australia, make sure you get the right vaccine, because there are some vaccines that the country will not accept. The same rules will apply to tourists unless they qualify for medical exemption. Now, you're going to see, if you've kept up with tennis or any kind of sport, you might have heard about Novak Djokovic being kicked out of the country, as this article will discuss later on. But he got kicked out of the country because he didn't have the shots, even though it was kind of tricky because he had the exemption approved from the government. And clearly, you gotta have the 2 shots, even though they approved it. It's kind of approved his exemption. It was kind of confusion at the time. He could, for some reason, I guess he's probably allergic to the vaccine or whatever. He just could not take the vaccine shots, so he got an exemption from the Australian government at one point, but the Australian government for some reason revoked it. So I just find that very interesting that he was approved for the exemption, but it sounded like they kind of backed off on that because of the public outlash that the government was receiving. So they said he cannot come to Australia to play in the Australian Open. And it says it right here. In January, world tennis #1 Novak Djokovic had his visa canceled amid a debate over his vaccination exemption status. He was ultimately deported and could not compete in the Australian Open. Yeah, it says it right here. Your visa is one thing, but your entry into Australia requires you also to be double vaccinated. And I think events earlier this year should have sent a very clear message. I think everyone around the world that is a requirement to enter Australia, Morrison says. We'll see how popular this lasts. I don't know how Australians feel about this. I'm sure there's a lot of Australians with family and friends who do not want the vaccine, but they want to come to Australia. We'll see how long that will last. The Prime Minister added that the borders further reopening would bring a needed boost to the country's travel industry. Australia is a very, believe it or not, even though Australia is isolated for most of the world because of how far you have to travel, it is a very popular destination. I've been there. A lot of people go out there. It's a long flight, but it's worth it. The country is very beautiful. The people are friendly. The food's delicious. But it's and I'm sure the country is so dependent on tourism money that it was hurting. I think a lot. It wouldn't surprise me if a lot of people in that business were complaining to the prime minister to change it as soon as possible. I'm sure someone was whispering in his ear that it needed to be changed because it was hurting the economy, especially in the travel industry. Let's see. Let's skip here. As of February 7th, Australia had confirmed 2,727,260 cases of the coronavirus, of which there was 4,200 deaths. That is a interesting stat in my opinion, but I won't get into that. Last year, the National Travel and Hospitality Body released an ad called "It's Our Best Shot for Travel." In news, on TV, online, and across social media. Now, I'm not going to share my opinion, except I don't care if you get the vaccine or not. You should have freedom of travel as long as you know the consequences of going to said place. The campaign encouraged Australians to get COVID vaccines in order to open up national borders and to be able to travel again. Currently, about 80% of eligible adults in the country are fully vaccinated. That is another interesting stat, which means there's 20% who's probably holding out and said, nah, I don't want the vaccine for whatever reason. But that is the case. So, if you are vaccinated and you've been dying to go to Australia, February 21st is the first day you can make an attempt to go out there without having to worry about it. You just have to have proof that you have the vaccine shots, at least 2, according to this article. So I just find that very, very interesting. So if you like this video, hit like, subscribe, share this video, because this is probably going to be a lot of good news for a lot of people, a lot of passionate travelers who are looking to go to Australia. Again, the country is beautiful, people are friendly, the food's delicious, cities are awesome. So if you like this, as I said, do what you gotta do, and I'll be seeing you guys later. Peace.